So we're going to move into a standing meditation now. We're going to do a bit of mindful movement and finish with a meditation on a tree, just to stick with this theme of nature, being connected to the ground, connected to the sky. So if that doesn't feel right for you, you're welcome to stay seated. You can do this either seated or standing, but you might standing if that feels right for you. So just taking the time that you need to find a place. So you can feel that you can move around slightly. You've got enough space around you to move the arms and feeling the connection with the feet. You might even like to remove socks if you're wearing socks, just to get that extra sense of connection with the ground. So we'll just start by tuning into the body, tuning into this sense of being stood here. So allowing the awareness just to settle in and notice the after effects of standing up. Feeling the feet planted on the ground. And beginning to roll the shoulders. We'll just introduce a little bit of mindful movement here. So moving with the breath, breathing in as the shoulders rotate up towards the ears, and then breathing out as they descend down the back. Maybe noticing if there's tension here or if there's areas which really welcome that movement. Perhaps allowing a sense of the shoulders and the arms dropping as they descend. Sense of that uplift to the ears. And then reversing that movement. A sense of the movement nourishing the body in some way, perhaps. Breathing up in as the shoulders move up towards the ears. Breathing out as the shoulders descend down the front. Perhaps just shaking out the arms, shaking out the shoulders, if that's possible. And we're going to do a few head rolls now. So moving, well, using the nose almost like it was drawing a circle on a window pane. So allowing the head to move in a circular movement. Again, feeling into those edges. Maybe there's some crunchy edges. Maybe there's a sense of delight in welcoming that movement, muscles being stretched. And in your own time, when it feels right, reversing that, so you're rotating around in the other direction, drawing this imaginary circle of the nose, this imaginary window pane. And coming back to center and stillness, just checking in with the body, dropping the awareness back down to the feet, and rotating the hips now. So rotating the hips forwards, and to the side, and then to the back. Perhaps breathing with this movement, making circles as big or as small as feels right for you this evening, as slow and as fast as feels right for you. Maybe some clicks, maybe some areas that feel a bit juicy, a bit tight. Maybe this also feels really easeful, and there's a sense of suppleness in the body. Just noticing how your body is this evening, no right or wrong way to feel. And then reversing that in your own time, remembering to breathe, remembering to feel that sense of the connection to the floor with the feet. Perhaps noticing as the body moves and the weight shifts from back to front, how that weight is distributed over the feet, into the heels, into the balls of the feet, into the toes. And then coming to pause here and shaking out the legs. All the way down to the toes. Perhaps even just shaking the whole body out here. Having a sense of just getting the energy flowing, shaking out any tension out of the hands, out of the feet. And when feels like you've given that movement justice, allowing the body to come back to the sense of being still, pausing, just checking in, noticing the breath. Noticing the body in space, the connection of the body with the air, the skin with the air. And dropping the awareness down through the feet. And for this standing meditation, you may like to have your eyes slightly open if that feels like you'll be most supported. You can also close your eyes, or you can vary that, whatever feels right for you. So really allowing the awareness to settle into the feet. Feel all of the elements of that contact with the ground, texture of the floor underneath you, bobbles of carpet or smooth hard of floorboards, warmth or cool. Perhaps breathing a couple of nice long, deeper breaths. Breathing up from the earth, breathing down into the earth. Having a sense of nourishment, a sense of uplift as we breathe in. And a sense of letting go, a sense of releasing down to gravity, down into the earth. And as you stand here, allowing an image to come to mind of a tree. So that could be a tree that you live near, that you visit perhaps, or familiar with, or from childhood. Might be something from a storybook, or just from a mental image. Allowing that felt sense of a tree to come to mind. Without it needing to be some perfect image, just allowing that sense of a tree to arrive. As we bring this sense of a tree, perhaps as an awareness of the qualities of a tree, their stability, and their rootedness and connection. It's an image perhaps and a felt sense that we can draw upon in times of need, where life perhaps doesn't feel as stable as we'd like. Perhaps as we move into different phases of this lockdown scenario, there may be a sense of being unsettled, or feathers being ruffled, or maybe that's not the case at all. But whatever the case, drawing upon this grounded, rooting, stable sense of what a tree offers. And we can bring this sense of embodiment into our own bodies. So perhaps having a sense now that coming down through the feet are roots. Just visualizing this or just imagining somehow, holding in the mind's eye a sense of roots there, big, strong, main roots, and all of the smaller, tiny capillary-like roots that reach deep down into the ground, and they keep growing. Roots form this connection with the earth. They allow a connectedness with ground, with nature. And that there's also this sense of giving and receiving through the root system of the tree. A sense of bringing in nutrients, bringing in nourishment, drawing it up through the root system. And there's also this sense of being earthed, being solid, being stable, stabilized through the root system. This complex web of roots. Maybe even having a sense of breathing down through the root system, letting go and breathing up this sense of nourishment into the body. So breathing down, letting go, breathing up. And moving the awareness up to a sense of the trunk of the tree. Having a sense perhaps of the legs and the torso, embodying this sense of the trunk. Sense of the trunk which creates a sense of stability, a sense of solidity, a sense of support. It's always there. It's always there for the tree. And much is going on beneath the surface, this bringing up of nutrients up to the canopy of the tree. Like the organ systems of our body, busy supporting, busy there, supporting the body as a whole. And knowing that we can draw upon this sense of solidity, this sense of stability, this sense of stableness from the trunk. And even though in strong winds the trunk may move around, it may sway, and as you stand here there may be a sense of some slight swaying or movement, and that's completely normal. If it feels too much, you can always open your eyes. That movement is just a natural process to enable the uprightness and the aliveness to be supported. Without the trunk, branches can't grow. And the trunk may have some blemishes on it, might have some lichen on it, might have some scars which have been healed. We may have things in our life which are difficult right now. Perhaps bringing to mind this sense of healing, this healing that a tree does. It heals up the scars. A sense of care and compassion and kindness to how we find ourselves in this moment. Again, just remembering to tune into the breath. Breathing up through roots into the trunk. Breathing in that sense of uplift, of growth, of nourishment. Breathing out, letting go. And perhaps bringing to mind now the sense of the canopy of a tree, all of the branches, the leaves, the little branches, the twigs. So even having a sense of their movement. And that within this canopy there is growth. Having a sense perhaps of these branches reaching up into the sky, this connection to earth, but also connection to sky. Remembering always to keep that sense of stability, to keep that sense of groundedness. Coming back to that whenever it feels necessary for you. And within the canopy, within this canopy of life, within the canopy of one's day, there can be seasons. And for that tree, sometimes there is dormancy, there's rest, quietness of winter. And there's seasons of spring, where the sap rises through the trunk system. New buds form and leaves pop out, and there's blossom on the tree. There's a sense of vibrancy and life, of energy. And there's a contentment and stability of summer, of the abundance, perhaps. Sometimes fruitfulness. And then there's also the letting go of autumn. And that within any day of our lives, we can experience all of these things. We can experience times where the day is more quiet, we need to be more restful, more inward. There may be seasons within the day of energy, the energy of spring, fruitfulness of summer, of achievement, of getting things done, of connecting with others. And also the seasons of autumn. Just allowing all of these seasons to be present whenever they are. To naturally pass through. Embodying this sense now of a tree as a whole. Root system, connection with the earth. That connection perhaps which goes way beyond just the root system, the connection with other trees through fungi and mycelium in the earth. Connection with other trees through the movement, branches and the wind. Always stable, always grounded. And knowing that this is something you can come back to, you can come back to this image of a tree, this felt sense of the tree. If there is one here for you today in the body. Knowing it's something you can tune into in any moment. So I'm going to read to you a poem just to end. You may like to just continue standing here, breathing, embodying the sense of the tree. This is a poem called Advice from a Tree. Dear friend, stand tall and proud. Sink your roots deeply into the earth. Reflect the light of a greater source. Think long term. Go out on a limb. Remember your place among all living beings. Embrace with joy the changing seasons, for each yields its own abundance. The energy and birth of spring, the growth and contentment of summer. Wisdom to let go of leaves in the fall. The rest and quiet renewal of winter. Feel the wind and the sun and delight in their presence. Look up at the moon that shines down upon you, and the mystery of the stars at night. Seek nourishment from the good things in life, simple pleasures, earth, fresh air, light. Be content with your natural beauty. Drink plenty of water. Let your limbs sway and dance in the breezes. Be flexible. Remember your roots. Enjoy the view. So there's a lovely connection with nature here for you to take away with you, and where we've gone over by a few minutes.